What's going on, guys? I made it. I promised myself I was gonna shoot a video every day. At least one video every day. So now it's kind of late, but I made it, guys. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing marvelous today. Um, Today's message, guys, is about, or today's title, I should say, is called Stop Chasing Vagina. Stop chasing vagina, guys. And I'm gonna explain to you, like, there's two sides to vagina, guys. There's two sides, right? Now, me, when it comes to vagina, guys, I would say I have done pretty well in my life, right? I've gotten a good amount of vagina in my life, to the point where it has brought me to this point to even make this video. Now, when I was a bit younger, guys, going to college, around 19, 20 years old, I was getting a lot of vagina. I wouldn't say I was getting a lot, because I had a girlfriend at the time as well, so I was still turning down a lot of vagina, right? But it was there for the taking, it was there for the picking. And I remember one day in college, guys, I remember there was one time in college I used to get one new girl like every week. Probably one new girl every week, literally. So I remember now, guys, I remember a guy sat me down one time right, and he was like, yo, he saw me in action and stuff at college, and he saw me, like, doing my thing, being in savage mode, and he sat me down. He was like, yo, there's guys that are not as lucky as you, right? And I'm like, what do you mean, bro? And he was just like, yo, there's guys that don't get even like 3 or 4 new vaginas for the year. And I was just kind of like, yo, I started to think about it, and I'm like, yo, continue what you're saying, bro. And he was saying, yo, I know you do well for yourself in that field, but because you do so well in that field, you're not noticing there's another side to the coin, where there's guys who don't even get any new vagina, right? And yo, he was explaining it in a way where I literally thought on the other side of the coin, like, yo, you're right though, bro. Now, guys, I could say this much. Anything that you do too much of, especially as a man, can become a drug for you. It can become addictive, right? So this is why I'm even making this video, guys, because at one point in my life, I feel like I became addicted to vagina. See what I'm saying? At one point in my life, I feel I became addicted. right? Like I couldn't do without it. Like I remember a point in time when every evening, I would go to work, maybe cook some food, come home, whatever it might be. And then on my mind, I was just like, okay, I gotta get some vagina tonight. Like, this was my thought process, like, almost every day. And I had the women or the woman or, whatever the time was, to always feed that drug for me, feed that dopamine. I was definitely getting dopamine from it, right? I busted a lot of nuts, guys. Lots, right? And you know how that goes when you bust too many nuts. Like, your semen has a lot of minerals in it, a lot of power in it, right? So just to be expelling it all the time and wasting it, that's how I see it now. Like, I wasted a lot of liquid, guys, a lot of juice, right? And it became a drug for me, guys. It became a drug. Like, I didn't even really have to watch corn like some people do, how they just watch corn and they jerk off and whatever. Like, I didn't really have to do that. I mean, I did that at a point when I was like 14, 15. I started watching corn. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't something that took over my life. Now, if I wasn't getting so much vagina, maybe I would have been more into corn, guys. Who knows, right? Maybe I would have been more into that short validation. And there was a few times where I gave up the vagina a little bit and started watching corn again. And got a quick dopamine hit, and then I would go back to work. I used to see it like that. And guys, there was a time in my life when I could bust nuts and not even feel tired. I don't even remember feeling tired like how most guys would feel tired after they bust a nut. Like, even up until this day, guys, I have mad energy, guys. I have mad essence. Like, I just feel like I can't slow down. You feel me? And I appreciate that quality, right? And those are the kind of things I would rather be addicted to now. I would rather be addicted to working or be addicted to bettering myself every day, right? And I'd rather get dopamine from that because it could only bring you up, right? Cause guys, getting vagina every day, like, it's kind of like I was literally past the validation stage, kind of. I was kind of like, it was just kind of like dopamine. And imagine a guy who's not really getting as much vagina. At least he can say to himself, it depends on what the reason is, right? If he has no game, or maybe he doesn't seem like he's attractive or something, or whatever it might be, right? Maybe he's not good in when it's time for action, right? Maybe he's not that good. Who knows? But a guy like that can still look within himself and say, yo, I need to do this said thing, or I need to do this said thing in order for me to get vagina. Because that guy that sat me down and explained that to me, guys, about the guys not getting even 4 or 5 new vaginas for the year. Like, their whole dream is about getting vagina. And guys, if there were no women in the world, if there was no vagina in the world, would we be would we as men be grinding as hard as we do? Would we be hustling as hard as we do? Would we be trying to make as much money as we do or trying to level up? I don't think so, right? I don't if we didn't have or need women to validate what we were doing, I don't think we would be pushing ourselves as hard as men, just in general. So it is a gift and a curse, right? You have to balance yourself out with it. And that's why I'm saying stop chasing it, because to me it's overrated, guys. It's overrated, right? And these women were not leading me anywhere, to the point where I have to take responsibility and accountability to say I wasn't leading them anywhere. You see what I'm saying? I was just wanting one thing from them, pretty much. I've even gone on dates in the past with women where I just knew I only wanted to sleep with them. And to me, I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you say what your intention is to the woman. If you tell her straight up. But yo, I wasn't even telling women straight up like, yo, I just want your vagina. Like, you know, I was being cowardly about it, right? To where it brought me to this point where, you know, I definitely became way more honest in the last several years, for sure, right? I've become way more honest about it. I don't even take a woman on a date, and I haven't taken a woman on a date unless I'm serious about her, unless I actually like her and want something more than just sexual desire. Like, that's when I will go on a date. If I just want to sleep with a woman, guys, I'm not even taking her on a date. And if I was, I would tell her straight up, this is what I want. But usually, if you're telling a woman something straight up like that, you don't have to take her on a date. I've gotten many women, guys, without going on a date. Many. So I already know dates, going on dates is not required, right? A lot of the time, if a woman requires you to take her out on a date, either she's like a high profile woman, you know, like she's a 9, a 10 out of 10 or something, or 9 out of 10, or she doesn't like you as much as you like her, guys. And to me, guys, to me, as a man, for your relationship to be successful, for you to continue grinding every day, for you to continue bettering yourself every day, guys, in my opinion, the girl needs to like you more than you like her. Like, if you like her more than she likes you as a man, I feel like you're doomed, guys. You're doomed to go downhill. See what I'm saying? Because men have gone downhill with even women that they didn't like as much less, right? Because sometimes you get wrapped up with the vagina. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like there's even men who got wrapped up with women they didn't like that much. So I feel like, as a man, guys, you need to have a woman that likes you more than you like her, or love you more than you love her. Because as a man, you're only gonna fall more in love with that woman every day. And for women, it kind of works the opposite. If you're not a man building yourself, ambitious, working on yourself, trying to better yourself every day, women will usually lose attraction for you over time. Right? That's why women, the numbers for women getting divorces is so high. Right? 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And why is that? Because men, to me, in general, men are lazy. When men find a woman, they kind of fall off. They kind of fall off of their purpose. They fall off of the grind. You know, if they were going to the gym like 6 days a week, soon as they meet her, like they're going 3 days a week. And then, you know, I have friends who have kids now, they don't even go 1 day a week now to the gym. So it's like, that in itself can make a woman lose attraction for you. Once you lose that that dog in you, that grind. And the way how I feel, guys, the energy that I feel like I'll be grinding and putting in that ambitious energy until I die, until I lay in the box. You feel me? That's where I've brought my energy to. And I feel like you have to put yourself to that level to be able to even do that, where you're not gonna settle. See what I'm saying? You have to literally push yourself to that point where you're not gonna settle. Now, obviously, like I said before, many men are gonna chase success, chase money, and evolution, all to acquire a woman, right? But I feel like you need to fall in love with evolution, bettering yourself, you know, following your purpose, not just for a woman, guys, for it to continue past her, right? For you to continue doing it even when you get her, right? And you know, like I said before, guys, I can tell you this from firsthand after having so many women in my life. Vagina is overrated, guys. If you don't have a plan for that woman, don't waste too much time on her. Like, cause all you have is time, guys. Don't, just because she's giving you vagina or giving you the box, don't just feel like you need to take it. Right? What do you really want to do in life, guys? Ask yourself that. And guys, I've had friends where, you know, all they wanted was a family. But like, if that's your highest attainment or your highest ambition, when you do get a family, then what are you gonna do after that? You're only gonna go downhill, and then she's gonna look at you like, what are you doing now with yourself? Like, she's gonna look at you as less of what you were when you were chasing her, or when you were trying to do whatever it took to even get her. See what I'm saying? So it's a thin line, guys. It's a very thin line. Just like any drug, you can overdose, you can get addicted and like lose your way, where you just want that hit, that dopamine hit every day. And where does it bring you? Right? If someone does heroin or something, but it brings them somewhere, if they have balance over it? To me, I don't think there's anything bad in life that you can do in terms of what motivates you. Like, even if it's drugs, even if it's substances, alcohol, vagina, whatever it is, right? Whatever makes you grind your gears or makes you go harder, to me, that's all that matters, right? Now, usually with heavy dopamine hits comes addiction. It snowballs. You see what I'm saying? It usually snowballs into something to where you want it all the time now. So it's a thin line of balance, guys. It's a thin line of balance, right? The way how I think of it is like this. If you are addicted to anything, you already have a problem, in my opinion. Right? If you can't balance out from something, or anything for that matter, I think it's already an issue. Now, if it's something that you want, or it's on the top of your list of attainment, and you're addicted to it, then you've already made it. Do you see what I'm saying? If your top acquirement or your top attainment is to have a beautiful woman or to have a family, or and you get that, like, you made it. But in dealing with other people, children, wife, all these things, you have to keep these people happy, guys. You have to, right? You have to maintain that. So is it possible to maintain that without wanting something more than that? That's a big question, right? But on the other side, guys, vaginas bring us all into the world, right? So, and me, I don't have no kids, right? Do I want kids someday? Maybe, right? If I don't have any kids, I don't think I'll feel bad, guys, about it. It's not, I'm not pressed about it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. Some people experience great joy from having children. I feel like I've already experienced great joy in life in general, right? But we have to carry on, guys. We have to carry on until we're laying in the box, right? So, like I said, you have to decide what you want in life. Where do you see yourself? You have to decide this when you're young. And I don't mean like 18, 19, but like you don't really have to know exactly what you want to do, guys, but you should know, do I want to be successful? Do I want to be rated higher than the average man, what the average man is doing? Or, do I want to be a regular Joe? Do I want to be an average Joe? Do I want to be higher than the Joes? Even if you don't know what you want to do in life, you should at least be able to answer that one question. And then from there, that is when you could sort everything out to say, yo, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. I like doing this, I like doing that, right? Then you can determine it from there, right? So all these things, guys, you gotta think about. You gotta put it in motion. See what I'm saying? As a man, it's very important, right? You gotta decide, where do you want to be. So I think that's all I'm gonna say for this video, guys. Right? Stop chasing the vagina, guys. It's overrated. To me, mostly all pleasures are overrated if it's not something that's at the top of your list. like, where does pleasure bring you to? Like, to me, pleasure doesn't really bring you anywhere. It doesn't like, pleasure just motivates you to want more pleasure, in my opinion. So, like I said before, you need to balance between those. And pleasure can also make you addicted to more pleasure. This is why you have to balance. You have to balance it. See what I'm saying? So stop chasing, guys. Even if you feel like you need to validate yourself with this. Hear it from me, guys. It's overrated. Okay? Focus on yourself and everything will come into play. Everything will come into form. See what I'm saying? Focus on yourself. And even if I think back, guys, there was a point in time where I was just coasting, guys. Like, I always knew that I would want it to be more than the average Joe. I always knew that. Even when I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I always knew that part, but because of vagina, guys, because of the dopamine, I was coasting. And I'm gonna make a whole other video about like substances, because I was into substances as well, right? And I remember even getting my first decent paying job. Guys, I was working part-time at this job, and I was going to school at the time too. I was doing both, but I could have worked more. I could have made way more money. I didn't need the money at the time. I didn't need it. Do you see what I'm saying? I was making so much money, a good amount of money, just working like 3 days a week, maybe sometimes 4 days a week. But I remember even I had a girlfriend when I was around 19, 20, and we were living together. And I remember she had like, she was taking loans to go to school and stuff. And me, I remember I paid school off cash. I didn't have no debt. And plus I was working this decent job, so I was also saving money at the time. I had 2 cars, sometimes 3 cars, right? I was just abundant, you know. I had all these vaginas, like I said before. I had money in the bank, chilling, even not even working as hard as I could have. See what I'm saying? And I remember my girlfriend at that time, she was like, yo, can you help me pay back some of my school fees and stuff like that? And to me, I was just kind of like, why do I need to help you? Like, we had a place, we had a 2-bedroom apartment that was a great price, guys. It was a great price. And her debt wasn't even that big, right? Where I needed to help her in that way. But she was just trying to set me up to provide more for her. And at that time, guys, I never really looked at it like that, right? Being a young boy, I never looked at it like, yo, I need to build myself to take care or provide for a woman wholeheartedly. Even now that I'm older, I'm like, now my mindset is different, because I'm thinking like, yo, if I had children with a woman, I would want her to stay home with the children. And in order for her to stay home with the children, I would have to provide everything. Right? So this is like a different mindset than at that time. Right? And she probably could have paid off her debt, guys, within like a year. Like, it wasn't even no big debt. So when she asked me to help her with it, I was kind of like, why do I need to help you? Like, just because I have money chilling? But I could have helped. I could have helped, for sure. I was definitely in a position to help, but I was more thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to buy this girl a ring. I'm gonna have to pay for a wedding and all these things I was thinking at the time. And we were so young, guys. We were so young that I wasn't in no rush. Right? I was pretty much thinking like, yo, you could even take 2 years to pay off your debt. Like, we don't even need to get married tomorrow or nothing like that. But this is why, guys, I feel like it's very important to discuss your roles and your plans for the future with your significant other. It's very essential. What is your plan? What do you guys plan to do when you have children? Guys, I feel like so many people join in relationships without talking about that. Like, people just are in love and then they deal with all these issues after the fact without even talking about it. Like, to me, that is very cowardly, guys. Men and women both do it without discussing like what their actual plans are, where they want to be, what are their roles in the relationship. Like, even my parents didn't discuss that amongst each other. But my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad pretty much provided everything. So it was still good for me to see that and visualize that. You see what I'm saying? But I do feel, guys, it's a discussion. Now, say in my parents' time or their parents' time, was it a big discussion before? Maybe not, because it was already assumed that the man would provide. But things have been changing, guys. You know, to me, the government got involved a little bit with assisting the women if men and women broke up. And, you know, even the inception of TV and all these stuff, like, people started bumping heads more, guys. People started having more problems in their relationships. And I do feel like part of it is by design, but don't chase, guys. Chase your dreams, chase your purpose, chase your goals. Chase that. Decide where you want to be. Do you want to be the average Joe, like I said? Do you want to be higher than the average Joe? You need to decide all of this. Like I said, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, but you need to at least know where you want to be. And that can get distorted if you're chasing vagina, guys. So that's all I'm gonna say for this video. Okay? Have any of you ever had a similar situation? Do you feel like it's too late for you to chase your dreams and your purpose? Maybe you are at that point where you need to make that decision. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think about that? How do you feel about that? Right? Did you go through this same experience? Were you chasing vagina a lot at one point? Let me know in the comments. What did you learn from it? What did you learn from like running around chasing? You know, what did you learn? What did you gain? What did you lose? See what I'm saying? These are all questions you have to ask yourself honestly. Also, guys, send this to a guy who needs to be realigned into his purpose. Send it to him. A guy maybe a guy you think who's chasing. Even if he's not chasing, send it to him. And guys, I'll be very grateful if you like the video, share the video, and subscribe for more. That's all I'm gonna say for today, guys. Know where you want to be. Peace.